Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. Where am I? Look at this awesome mill and the water down there. This is just beautiful. This is Juniper Springs in the Ocala National Forest here in Florida. And we are just checking out some really cool things, including a filming location. More on that later. But this is gonna be an awesome show today, guys. You're not gonna wanna miss this.
This is Record-ology.
Okay, so on today's show, we are going to be taking a look at the Arkrocket Cassini Turntable system. This is like everything you need in a box. It's got speakers, the turntable itself. So let's check it out. Let's see what it's all about. Behold, Arkrocket Cassini. I have no idea, guys. I have never heard of this company. I've never seen this product before. Only information I have to go on is this line drawing that you and I are looking at and this rather hefty box. But this is exciting. This is fun. Will we discover a new good record player turntable system, or will it be a dud? There's only one way to find out, and that is to open up the box. Okay guys, moment of truth. This is looking really good. I like the looks of what I see. Okay, so it looks like we've got our speakers here and an accessory box. Very nice, like foam cushioning. This isn't just styrofoam. All right, I'm gonna get this out of the box next. So far, I'm very impressed with the packaging quality of this product. You can see the turntable itself nestled down in the lower end of the box. And let's take a look. Okay, not everything. I've got one more box. This is literally an accessories box. Counterweight, user guide, power adapter, and 45 RPM adapter. I love it. Let's give it a look. We've got our manual. And I'm assuming this is a warranty card. Yep. Hold on to that in case we have any questions. So an external DC power supply. There goes the belt. We've got an audio cable, 45 adapter, the cheapest of the cheap.
Have you ordered your official Record-ology 45 adapter yet? Check out the link in the video description below.
Metal counterbalance, and that's all for the box. Oh yeah, and the belt that I dropped on the floor. Let's start with the speakers and take a look at those. So far, everything is very encouraging. And like I've said for years now, I really do think that quality packaging is indicative of quality product, because I feel like a company that's willing to invest in packaging is going to be interested in protecting their product, and they care that it arrives to you in one piece. Okay, so we've got a veneer, a nice looking kind of walnut veneer on this speaker here on the back. We've got a single port, and tucked in there is the speaker cable. Looking in the back of the port, I do see what appears to be the back side of a tweeter. So hopefully this is a true two-way speaker. And that's about it back here. It does use an RCA cable as a speaker cable, which is fine. On the bottom, we've got little adhesive rubber nubs. It's a pretty deep speaker too. And I think that's good. I feel that that's a quality thing. On the front, here's our speaker grill, fabric. There's an opening here and then a smaller opening there. Let's see if we can take the grill off. And the grill is painted black with the fabric glued in. It's got the little sprockets there that allow you to remove it. And then the front of the speaker, this looks nice. This looks like a legit, respectable speaker. I'm not sure at this point what the power wattage or the power rating is on said speakers, but based on build quality and appearance, fit and finish, I'm hopeful. Okay, these speakers will output 20 watts per speaker, which is very respectable, and based on that, should sound very good. The manual's fantastic, by the way. A lot of illustrations, very clear layout, even of how to take the tape off of the cartridge when you first get it home. Something that, people will ask these questions if they haven't experienced these things before. So this looks like a very well put together manual. I love it. And the warranty looks good as well. It looks like a 1-year warranty. Excellent. Okay, now for the main attraction. Let's go ahead and carefully remove the packaging materials from the turntable. It uses the packaging design where the platter is down underneath, which is the best way to do it. And then the dust cover kind of floats above the turntable itself. All right, and there we have it. So nice foam wrap on the dust cover. We've got an anti-static plastic wrap on the turntable. And again, it uses these nice foam blocks. This isn't styrofoam, it's more of a plastic foam. Very interesting, sort of a brown tinted dust cover. Oh, there's a little plastic protector here on this. I need to take that off. And let's go ahead and put the turntable together. Looks fantastic. It's heavy. It's big. It's bigger than I thought it would be. There's the platter itself. All right. I'm really getting excited about this, you guys. Okay, so it is a very hefty piece of MDF with a veneer over the top of it. It looks like a photo veneer. I mean, this doesn't have any there's a little bit of texture to it, but there's not like the deep ridges that some higher end veneers do. This actually is an image wrap, I believe, because you can kind of see what looks like a slightly lower resolution image of the wood grain, which is interesting. You'd have to really be looking close to see what I'm talking about there, but it looks great. It feels good. It's thick, and the badge on here, that just looks solid. That looks really cool. It's kind of a rose gold. It's coming across on camera as more of a yellow gold, but to the eye, it looks more like a rose gold. Okay, so we've got the motor spindle right there, and then the main bearing right there. And I like the look of this. It's really cool. I'm not sure what this little piece is right here, this little disc down there. The platter itself is cast aluminum, and there's a belt on there. So the belt we saw earlier must be an extra belt. Obviously, the sub platter is where that goes around. A nice recessed area there to make room for the platter mat. Nice finish on the corners. Even the little instruction piece with the ribbon to make it easy to put this on and get the belt in position as well. Houston, we may have a problem. I've never seen this before, but check this out. So I put this on just like that, and I think there's a clearance issue with the height of the pulley. That's a problem. Like, is the motor spindle up too high, or is this too low? Very strange. I've never seen that. It's literally hitting on this opening when it rotates. Dang, we were doing so good. That's weird. I don't see how I could do it any other way. What the heck? Look at that. It literally hits right there. Also, is that really close to the platter? Maybe it needs to be screwed in differently? Maybe that, there it is. Okay, it wasn't screwed in all the way. Now there's clearance. That was a first. I've never seen that before. Yeah, now it's fine. Let's take a look at the platter wobble. A little bit of platter wobble. Yeah, that kind of an issue, doesn't bother me as much, but I know that somebody is a first-time user that doesn't know what to look for would be totally bummed because they couldn't play records right off the bat. They wouldn't understand what was happening or what to even look for. So that's a bit of an issue. Also, this platter wobble is a bit much for a brand new turntable. Okay, let's go ahead and put the belt on next. And hopefully we won't have any more issues with things. And we can take this off, this little sticker. Like that. And the platter mat it comes with is just a basic, really cheap, rigid felt platter mat that sits down in that little inset. Some people have raised concerns about these platters that have the lip on the edge, that if you were to put like a rigid platter mat on here, like an acrylic, that it might bow down in the middle a little bit if weight was put down on there, because it wouldn't be resting on a completely flat surface. Something to be aware of. But this little felt mat that comes with it seems to do the trick just fine. And by the way, have you ever noticed that platter mats have the branding is always like on one side like this, kind of like a bar coming off of the center? It is designed at a glance to be able to tell if the thing is spinning. So if you see it spinning, it's easy to tell when the branding is positioned like that. And you'll see that on all levels of turntables, especially ones that are kind of DJ turntables, more so than other kinds. It's very interesting. It took me a while to figure out why they did that. And I'm a curious person. I just want to know why. But that is why they do it. Okay, I took the platter back off because I realized I forgot to show you the bottom. There are these two plastic discs right here and down there. I'm not sure what those are for. But I want to draw your attention to these feet. These are crazy. Like, it's a very tacky kind of a silicone rubberized orb on the bottom, and they have like a complete plunge to them. They're like spring loaded. Check this out up close. Check that out. That's amazing. I like that. I've never seen a foot look anything like that. And on the back here, we have what looks like a line out, but be very careful. That is not a line out. That is actually speaker outputs, even though they're using the RCA connections that you would normally see on a line out. Those are amplified. So don't connect this thing to your external audio system, because you will blow that system out of the water, which is not a good thing. This does have a volume control. There is an amplifier built in. This is an all-in-one system. So very odd that they chose not to include a line output, but only the speaker output. So it's an all-in-one system that looks like a turntable. It does have an aux in, which is kind of cool, and the power supply as well. This is the ARPH68-DWT from Arkrocket. Just finished balancing the tone arm. There's very good instructions about how to do that without any external tools. Whatever this cartridge is, it tracks at 3.5 grams. I just think it's a 3600, but let's look carefully at that and see what we can find out. I don't know, you guys. This has me a little baffled. I don't think it's a 3600. I mean, it may be, but look at the slant on the front of this. Now, this housing could be, covering up a 3600, but it's odd that it wouldn't use a standard 3600 stylus housing. That's odd to me. It looks like this green piece would actually be the stylus housing. So I'm thinking more like a groove tool, something along those lines. Also, this was the protective cap, which looks like a groove tool when it doesn't look like an Audio-Technica. So I'm going to say not a 3600, but I do believe it's magnetic. It's got a nice looking hefty metal cantilever. I don't see any reddish hues coming from the stylus tip. So I'm hoping and thinking that it's probably diamond. But yeah, interesting and different, which I appreciate. Something different, that's good. At least it makes for an interesting show. Now, this is completely plastic. It does look like the cartridge is removable. There are screws. Head shell is plastic. It's not a removable head shell. This is a metal tone arm. The base back here is plastic. Let's look at the gimbal. Gimbal's pretty tight. So that's surprising. That's actually pretty tight. That is a plastic material there. We've got a rubber coated, or is that rubber? No, that's plastic that looks like rubber. Lift shelf there. We do have a cueing lever. The descent is a little janky. I mean, it's not dropping like a rock. There is some damping in there, but it's not dropping like a rock. Also, the spindle that the counterbalance attaches to is metal, so not the worst tone arm I've ever seen. Definitely not the best. What is this? Okay, this is another first. That's a speed selector switch where the anti-skate control should be. That is a speed switch. That's weird. And by the way, I did notice when I was setting up the tone arm, it definitely is missing anti-skate. So there's no anti-skate. Not a complete deal breaker for the beginner, but something to be aware of if you're kind of an intermediate user. Down here we've got the knobs. If you like, good quality metal knobs with the finish to them. They got indicator light there. Again, this is an on and off and volume control. There is an amplifier built into this. This turntable drives the speakers, okay? Again, it's not sending a line output or phono level output. It is actually amplifying it to the speakers directly. And we've got the Bluetooth switch, an aux input, the phono, and then the PH with a Bluetooth logo next to it, which I'm guessing is a Bluetooth transmit, which is interesting to me because the manual doesn't mention anything about a Bluetooth transmit feature. So let's go and get it hooked up, give it a listen. Now, if you're newish to vinyl, this is actually kind of a bad way to set up your turntable with the speakers right next to it. You ideally want your speakers on a different surface than the turntable. That just kind of helps keep the vibrations from the speaker from negatively impacting the sound of the turntable itself. But for demonstration purposes, this will work okay for what we're trying to do in here. It looks great. Let's put the lid down. I think it's a good looking setup. I really, really do. It's got kind of a 70s vibe with that brown tinted dust cover. I think it's good. It's actually kind of late 70s, early 80s retro vibe. I think it's cool. And I hope it sounds good. It's been an interesting setup so far. I hope the payoff here is going to be worth it. So as always, when we're listening to speakers, I'm going to be disconnecting the vocal mic and I'm going to be turning on the front firing stereo mic so we can get a listen in the room. This is not a direct feed. This turntable is not capable of a line output, possibly a Bluetooth output, but there's no line output. There's no headphone jack. Those jacks on the back are for the speakers. So it is an all-in-one system. It's a very interesting, more of a record player that looks like a turntable than an actual turntable. So it's bizarre. How would you classify this system? How would you classify this? Obviously this is a beginner kind of a product here, I would say, but it might be a good one depending on how it sounds. We are going to be listening to Vinyl Moon 73, and I'm just going to have to drop the needle here and there. This will be copyrighted tracks, so I have to be very careful about how much music I include. But let's go ahead and give it a start, flipping it over to phono mode and 33 RPM. Houston, we have another problem. What on earth? You know what? We didn't check the speed. We need to desperately check the speed accuracy on this. Okay, strobe warning, everybody. We are going to be looking right here for 33 RPM. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's way off. That is way off. That is going to be very fast. Very, very fast. Okay, switching to 45 RPM, which is right here. And that is very fast as well. Okay, let me double check and make sure that that belt is on straight. Sometimes this can happen if the belt is kinked over, if it's rolled over on itself. So I'm gonna make sure that oh, and look, that was the problem. It was my fault. This was totally my problem. See how the belt is up on the edge of this thing? Ah, yes. Put it down inside there. Bet you that fixes it. It actually didn't make as big of a difference as I thought it would. There's 33. There's 45. It is definitely still fast. Okay, this is very interesting. Do you remember how that belt was up on the edge of the pulley and then I fixed it and it was still fast? Watch this. If I turn it on, watch that belt. It goes right back up on there. Look at that. It put itself right back up on there. So it wasn't my fault. I had it on right. But the simple rotation of the platter, I can just do it by hand. And look, it brings it right back up where it's not supposed to be. Now look at the position of the belt here. It's up as high as it can go on that sub platter. And we really don't want it there. We want it lower. So let me try and kind of dress the belt. I fully agree with what you're saying right now. I can hear you through the internet, and you're saying you shouldn't have to do that. And I fully agree, but I believe that there's a little bit of an alignment issue with where the belt is positioned in relation to the subplatter. And that is causing the belt to hike up on the pulley and therefore change the, geometry of the motor assembly and the platter rotation, thereby changing the speed and pitch. Okay, try it again. Hopefully this time it'll stay in the right spot. Okay, it seems to have normalized. It's a lot closer there at 33 and at 45. So that's as good as it's going to get. Still, it does run a tad bit fast. Okay, let's try it again, guys. Hopefully with better results. A lot of bass, I can tell you that. Look how high that lifts off. That lifts off like ridiculously high off the record. I'm not sure why. It's definitely bassy. Why am I surfing on the old Sounds good. Actually sounds really good. It feels like we are 100 skies above. I'm just hoping that you'll stick around. Can you stay long enough to stay? Okay, after all of that, I'm actually pleasantly surprised by the sound quality. It's rich, it's full. It's very bassy, but it doesn't seem to sacrifice accuracy, which is surprising. Okay, final thoughts. And let's put this in perspective. This thing costs $209 right now on Amazon. It's normally $219, I think, and they're running Amazon's got a discount on there. So basically $200 for a turntable that does sound nice, but you are constricted and limited to its built-in speakers, or I should say speakers that plug into those connections. Those are not line outputs, friends, not line outputs. We did have to fiddle with it a bit, with that belt especially. Overall, I feel the fit and finish was good. The packaging was good. The sound quality surprised me. It was quite good. Speakers, a little boxy perhaps in the sound, but they do have a prominent warmth and bass to them. Plenty of bass punch, plenty of volume. And there was treble there, so you could hear, sort of the accuracy of the cartridge. Perhaps the high end is not the strength of these speakers, something to keep in mind. That being said, it's got a magnetic phono cartridge. I'm pretty sure it's a Groove Tool clone, and that's fine. It's a moving magnetic cartridge. It's one step below a 3600 though. But for this type of a unit, you're not going to notice a difference. I wish there was anti-skate on there. I definitely wish there was a line output. I wish this was more like 125, 135. That being said, it's not bad at all. And if you are somebody who, could deal with the issues that we ran into, and I don't expect them to reoccur, once you kind of set it and forget it, we now have a very nice turntable system set up. So this would be a good step up unit from somebody coming off of an all-in-one or a suitcase player, something with a ceramic cartridge. This would sound way better to them. Oh yeah, we had a little bit of platter wobble too, I remember. Something to take into consideration. So anyway, I am going to give it a thumbs up. And from a styling aesthetic, I think it looks fantastic. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Oh, and that's going to do it for today's show, guys. We are down here at the beautiful City Walk area of Universal Orlando, and there goes a water launch right there. You can take those to your resort or your hotel, and there's restaurants everywhere. This is kind of like the downtown Disney equivalent or the Disney Springs equivalent. for Universal, and the entrance to the parks is here as well for Universal. It's just really, really cool. Anyway, my friends, I hope you enjoyed the show. Happy record hunting, and we'll see you next time.